Yes, I wanted to share with you guys a video that I made making spaghetti squash for the first time with some grilled shrimp, if you would call it, sauteed shrimp rather. Did some grilled lamb chops on the gas grill, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. This is one of the gifts that I got. God's blessed me with cooking, and I just jumped straight off up into it. So I followed the instructions that I watched from the video in regards to prepping the spaghetti squash. Cutting it in half, gutting out all of the seeds and all of the inside parts of it out to where you just get down to the spaghetti portion of it. So you set your oven for about 350, 375. It's gonna go in the oven, matter of fact, for about an hour, you know what I'm saying, to soften it up so you can scrape everything out. What you see me doing here is just grabbing my oil. You can use whatever kind of oil that you like. You can use olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you want. I had Mongolian fire oil that I got from the Asian or international aisle of the supermarket. And you see me there just sprucing up the oil. So once I coat the inside of the spaghetti squash, the squash itself, all of that will just kind of soak right in. That particular oil that I had used, it has like a darker red consistency looking color. And, again, you can use whatever oil you want. You can use butter if you like. It's whatever the eater or the cook's discretion is telling him or her at the time. But for me, I just wanted to be a little exclusive, be a little extra. There is no limit to creativity when you're in the kitchen. That's my office. That's my element. So I enjoy just getting creative. It almost looked like Sasson. But nah, man, it actually came out really good. So I did kind of pre-prep everything. I got the onions and the bell peppers and my green onion and rosemary laid out as well. I got my pack of lamb chops that I'm getting ready to dive off into. Slice those bad boys up individually, because I like to be able to hit it up like little lollipops. That's the first thing that comes to mind whenever I'm thinking about wanting to eat lamb is those little lollipops, cutting those rib sections up individually. I even threw in a little bit of adobo. Like I said, man, it's up to you how you want to prepare your squash. I like my food to have flavor. That's another seasoning, crushed chilies and salt and pepper from the international store. I just like all of my food to have flavor. I can't eat no bland food, and I ain't real keen on throwing extra seasoning on it after it's been prepared, unless I necessarily have to. I call that slipping on my end because I usually make sure everything is on point before it hits my plate. Again, this is a dish that, I've had before. It was my first time preparing the squash. I'm always cooking lamb and shrimp all the time. It's one of my two of my favorite foods. So basically, I grab my baking sheet, my baking pan, nothing suave about it. Got some avocado cooking spray, laced it up with, threw the two pieces of squash down on it, put them in the oven, face down, hump up. So that way, once you see the hump starts to sink down, you know that it's done. So right here, I'm basically just finishing off slicing up, individualizing those lamb chops, those sections. They've already been pre-washed, throwing them back in the strainer and give it another little rinse, and I'm gonna throw in all my seasonings and things like that. Got my strainer back on the counter, top side. I'm getting ready to start throwing in all my little additives. Again, this is chef discretion or cooker's discretion, however you want to season it. Me, I'm no stranger in the kitchen. I like my rosemary. I use pretty much a lot of the same seasonings, seasonals, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, stuff like that. Wherever you may be at in the world, I don't know, you may have like Lowry seasoning. I know they use that up north. Down south, we use Tony Chachere's, Slap Your Mama's seasonal. So, I grew up using seasonal and Tony, so I'm down with that. A little bit more of the international crushed peppers and salt and my garlic powder, Sprinkle you a nice handsome amount on there. because once it hit the grill, your skillet, you're gonna lose some of that anyway. So just again, if you want to eat good, you gotta learn how to cook good. So experiment, educate. Me, I've been doing this for a long time. Long time. Started cooking when I was like 7. So, I ain't no stranger. I know how much to put. I just eyeball it, I eyeball it. It's an inner thing. A little oregano is for, a little extra enhancement on flavor. And this is one of my secrets to my lamb chops, throwing in that sazon and give it that nice orange looking consistency. And then it also gives it a little bit more sodium to it, but not too much. But definitely that orange consistency or that red-like consistency that I like. Again, you're welcome to use whatever you like. I know some people, they just use regular salt and pepper, and they call that good, and it works for some people. It's whatever you want. I use 2 packs for the amount that I have. 1 pack would have got it, but I did two racks, so just to compensate for the quantity that I had chopped up or prepared. I'm just moving it right on off to the side, getting ready to kind of spruce up something else that I got lined up. By the way, anytime you got a grill lit, man, it's a good opportunity to get rid of some stuff, some extra stuff you got off up in the refrigerator, It won't hurt. I like to coat these things, get them in there, get in there nice and good. It's also a good rule of thumb whenever you messing with, cooking with sazon, put on some rubber gloves, because that coloring, it will get in your skin, and it'll take a good couple of washings before it come off, It'll get all up underneath your fingernails, but make sure you get in there and tenderize, massage them lamb, chop them baby lollipops real good, It's going to be well worth it in the end, so make sure you get all that seasoning on there real good and coat each and every one of them, show them a whole lot of TLC. I know I like tender loving care too, so you got to talk to your meats, finesse your meats, in a good way. Finesse it in a good way, don't be no stranger, put hands on your meats, fellas. This is things that you need to learn, Every good man in the household knows how to prepare food, It ain't gonna be every day that your lady is gonna be in good health and good standing. They're gonna be able to cook. And sometimes Jimmy John just ain't gonna cut it. McDonald's just ain't gonna cut it, So I'm a firm believer in all men and young men learning how to cook, you know what I'm saying? Because we are, supposed to be taking care of the household in a major kind of way. So just remember that and rule of thumb. Take care of mama. Mama take care of you. All right, now the shrimp, just throwing in the shrimp. Again, like I said, I use pretty much the same seasonings. Throwing my seasoning all, coat it up real nice and handsomely. I ain't no stranger of my seasoning. And again, it's never salty. It's just how I like it. Little onion powder, little garlic powder. That's a given. I think like all of my New Orleans people can agree with me on that. Like, ain't a dish that we cook, outside of po' boys, that we don't use garlic powder, onion powder, stuff like that, Good seasoning. Always onions and bell peppers, you learn that off at an early age. Cooking, growing up down there in New Orleans, they're very prominent on seasonings. Got a little bit of everything, so you become accustomed to it real early. Had a little baby glitch in the camera there. For all my brothers and sisters that don't know how to cut the onions, it's a simple, easy way. Just throw you a couple of lines in there, make you a couple of connect full lines, and start cutting, slicing and dicing. I'm a big fan of onions. Again, this is for the sauteed shrimp that's going to be cooked stove top over a light pan of coconut oil. So I like to have onions and bell peppers, tri-color peppers, which is yellow, orange, and red. And I like to throw my green ones in there. I also had my little yam patties. They're good to eat too, man. They were good. I forgot them. I set them off to the side once they were done and ate my lamb chops and the sauteed shrimp over the spaghetti squash, I forgot the yams, the bake. I put them in the oven and baked them. Got my gas grill. It's percolating. Got them little lamb lollipops looking nice and succulent, with the rosemary, all that heavy seasoning. What I like about the gas grill and cooking lamb chops on it, or anything for that matter, you can set it to low. Low, 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 and it won't burn your food. I threw some extra little sausage links in there. Like I said, you got extra food in the fridge that you want to get rid of. Hey, man, before it go bad, throw it on the grill, throw it on the pit. Somebody will eat it. But yeah, and with the lamb chops, man, it didn't take me long. 30 minutes, 30 minutes, if that, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, somewhere up in there, 30 tops, because I was kind of back and forth doing other stuff. But it don't take long, man. It don't take long at all to cook them. And you just don't want them to be all tough, or you don't want them to be burnt. Some regular hickory smoked Cajun sausage that I got, one of my favorites. Hitting it with the julienne cut, just something to nibble on while I'm cooking and preparing everything else. All of my cooks, they know what I'm talking about, Always got something to snack on, something to nibble on. But me or the little kids, my niece, nephew, whoever, they like to come in there sticking their nose off up and around the pots and the pans. I cook stuff like that for them so they can have. That's just a little sample piece I got right there. And it come out tender, man. Again, while you cooking your lamb on the grill, 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, however you like your meats, just pull one off, check it, see if it's tender to your liking, see if it's tender. My thing with me when I cook meats is I got to have it as tender as can be. I don't want no tough meat that's undercooked that I got to be gnawing on and all of that, So, yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you cook it to perfection. 15, 20, 25 minutes, it's up to you. It's chef's discretion. And like I say, that gas grill, man, it'll save you a whole lot of meat, man. You can cut it on low, low, low. It'll still cook it low and slow, and you won't burn your meat. You don't want to burn your meat. You want to eat good. You can control your heat. You can save your meat. I promise you. And believe you me, I've ran through some meat, and I've seen people burn up some meat in my time that didn't know what they was doing, and had some had some very unhappy, hungry people looking at them a certain kind of way. They felt kind of differently about them for that moment. So that's another rule of thumb, man. Control your heat, you save your meat. Oh, man. Glory be to God. So, yeah, man. Again, just a side note, I have another business outside of just regularly cooking for the house and whatnot. I cook empanadas as well. So, Mr. Cajun Empanada, you can visit him on Google. And, I'm local right here in Mississippi on the coast, Biloxi, Gulfport. And you can place an order, man, or you can contact the business number and put in the order. That meat I feed my face. Giving it the 100% government stamp and approval. See how the tops of the squash is sunk in? That's what you want. That's what you're going to look for. Here in a minute, I'll show you how to scrape that out of there. Throw in my little shrimp that we seasoned up. Got the rosemary, a little bit of that coconut oil, man. Throw in that tricolor peppers. All that heavy seasoning, let it do what it need to do. Marinate, cook down, sweat it down. Like 10 minutes, man, on a medium to low heat. Again, you control your heat, you can save your meat. Once you let those squashes kind of cool off for a little bit while you're doing other things, you come back, flip it over. Still gonna have that little heat to it, and you get your fork and you just go along the sides. And as you're scraping, you'll see how it forms like the spaghetti noodles, Mine were not like almost to the raw point. Some people, they cook theirs like that to where it still has crunch. I like all my stuff to be soft. So again, the way that you cook is completely your discretion, chef discretion. But for me, I like all mine kind of cooked, my squash, even when I had it prepared for me. Prior to me cooking it this time, I like it to be nice and soft, And I always think about, older people, I help my mom share a lot of these meals that I cook with my mom too. People who are older than me have, those royal porcelain teeth. Yeah, man, that's how you do it. You just scrape it on up, scrape it up, get it out the way, man, and then you can set it up how you like. I sweated that down for a good 10 minutes. I actually set it off to the side, drained off that water, and you can and then poured it over the top of the noodles. But some people, they take it, they add like a Alfredo sauce to that, or a thickening agent like cornstarch, and thicken that thing up and make a gravy for the noodles. So that's the finishing product. Like I said, I forgot my yam patties, but that's the spaghetti noodles, spaghetti squash, lamb chop grilled to perfection with sauteed shrimp, a little bit of green onion for more flavoring and garnishment. And I go in for the taste test. Amazing. Fantastic, man. I'm telling you, man, you got to holler at your brother. Brother Hill is always available to share some insight on cooking some good meals for you guys, man. Y'all let me know in the comments what you would like to see Brother Hill cook for you guys. It's nothing that I can't cook.